What's going on, you guys? My name is DividableHalo, and today I am joined by the one and only Shadowsniper 172, creator of the United Nations and brother of General JB.
Good evening.
Good evening. Anyways, so today this is a special privilege for me and probably a special privilege to all of you community members out there. If you guys don't know, Shadowsniper is one of the basically founding fathers of the military for Reach, anyways, and we're going to ask him a few questions about history.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna start off by briefly discussing how you joined the community. We're not gonna get into the depth, into like much detail like we did, like because you have an
All right.
autobiography, right? So
Yeah,
tell me,
yeah.
or tell us, how did you join the community?
How did I join the community? Well, depends on what you consider the community. At the time, Halo Reach, the beginning of Halo Reach, September 2010, was really the start of the Halo Reach militarized community. Yes, there were clans before it, but just the activity just exploded. It just blossomed with the media done by General JB and other clans, Fleet Com, the Advent. It just sprouted there. So I guess you could say I joined the community, quote unquote, by running the United Nations clan alongside General JB. That's really what put me out there. It's probably what I'm most known for in this community. So that's my answer to that question.
All right, so do you want to tell us when the United Nations was created? Because it was created in Halo 3, I believe, right?
Yes, it was in June 2010.
All right. During the time of the United Nations, people are thinking that like General JB, your brother, basically started the United Nations, and basically people don't know you started it. Do you want to weigh in on what happened?
Yes, sure. The United Nations was started by a friend of mine, DW, Drum Sabian was his name at the time, and myself. It was a small group of friends, and we just had an idea. Hey, let's make a clan that tries to solve problems and solve other clans' problems. So we came up with the white uniform, and our first emblem actually was a red stop sign with a white hand on the front of it. Stop, like stop the violence. But of course, that didn't really work out later, as you know. So, yes, the DW and I started the United Nations clan in June of 2010. And following that, actually a month later, is when we recruited General JB after the collapse of the United Spartan Command, which was his clan. And he joined the LDA after that, and then hopped to the United Nations. And he was actually he only ranked up in the lower enlisted ranks until he made the truth speech. And I had to give him some kind of power, or quote-unquote power. So,
All right. So basically, in Halo 3, in your autobiography, which I read, I'm just gonna bring that up for a minute. You in your autobiography, you were a bit worried that like General JB was a bit like trying to take over your fame and everything, because you were pretty well known with the monarchy of Halo and all that, right? Did you like have a concern that he might try to like control the UN the way he did with like some of your clans through media in Halo 3?
well, in the United Nations clan, JB may have had some power. And I'm talking UN first, then I'll kind of backtrack on the other clans, what he did there. JB has always wanted to at least have some control over events, and he does. When he makes the media, he does have more control over our outside influence and what people perceive us as. But inside the clan, ultimately the members know who really was in charge, and that was not General JB for the most part. Later on, the United Nations Navy was founded, and he was awarded the leadership position there, but the Navy never really got big. It was never really influential. It was more of a media and recruitment tool. So, essentially, JB controlled the media while I led the clan, which is why when I left the United Nations in August of 2011, 90% of the clan left along with me. But that's for later on in the interview. Backtracking here. In clans previous, or before UN, the Halo 3 UN, JB, he wanted to just have some control, and we were sharing an Xbox, and at the time, we didn't really get along. So, like, there was the one time where he did the Elite Rebellion in the MOH, because I didn't want elites in the clan, and he encouraged a clan of elites to go to war with us, and then when they lost the first battle, he backed out of it, and kind of left the elites to deal with me. And then they ultimately lost and were never heard of again, but that's that.
All right. So we've covered JB. Now we're gonna skip back to the future of the UN in Halo Reach. During the time of Halo Reach, was production or like recruitment like really easy to recruit people?
Halo Reach?
Yeah.
Well, this was all in part because of the media developed by General JB. It allowed for our recruitment to blossom. Our forums on the website were just nonstop. We could not keep up. That's why the UN was so hard to join at one point. And I don't mean hard to like go through the training. The training was easy. We'd send you in one map, you were in there for 30 minutes, then you were in. You got a uniform slapped on, and that was it. So that's how the UN worked. But recruitment was relatively easy with the media, with the General JB's media provided. So that's my reason for that. Following the UN, recruitment still was relatively easy as the clan community was very active over YouTube. YouTube wasn't updated or changed the way it is now. It was different, and there are more clans on there making recruitment videos and news updates constantly, every week. That's how it was. So yes, you could say the recruitment was easier.
All right. So during the time of you being in the UN, I've noticed an interview with like between you and your brother General JB, and it was basically discussing the war against the clan known as the United Union Federation. Could you tell me how did you come across the United Union?
Ah, the United Union clan at the time. This is
Oh yes, I
2011.
forgot that.
This is following the quote unquote war on terror, dubbed by JB. If you do remember correctly, we noted and labeled all of our enemies terrorists. At the time, it was great for media. Sorry, guys, but that's how it worked. Um, you were dubbed a terrorist, and then people, our allies, just didn't let you in their clans, and it was terrible. I know. We're sorry. At least I am. I don't know about JB. You'll have to ask him in the next interview.
All right.
But I formally apologize. Okay. But question. That was your question. Ah, United Union.
Yeah.
Okay. Sentry Strike, United Union. That's where we're going with this. United Union clan. Well, at the time, Avenged 7X Major was making his debut in the United Union, as well as R Lizard. Yes, R Lizard. For you listening there. R Lizard was there with him at the time. And they were the Navy SEAL commanders in the United Union. And the war kind of just started. Well, Avenged didn't really like the United Nations at first. Over YouTube, he always commented and what JB would call a terrorist or a troll. That he was one of those, okay? And he somehow got in a Navy training game, and I got online and I saw that he was in there, and I was pissed. I joined that game. All my members were in a straight line, and Avenged and our Lizard were in front of the line, just talking to them, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? These guys are enemies to the clan, and what are you doing? Why aren't they dead? And it took them about 30 seconds to realize what was going on. That's how poorly trained they were. I just started beating Avenge and Art Lizard. I killed them, and then they respawned, and I was still yelling at the members, and he ran up behind me and assassinated me. And I was like, oh, hell no. Then at that point, they realized what was going on and started shooting at Avenge. So, and that's how the war started, actually. And that's how I first got acquainted with Sentry Strike, through that war. Because right after the United Nations declared war on the UUF, or it was UUC at the time. And Sentry Strike, said, okay, well, we're going to war. And even though he didn't fight in any battles, it was just the Navy SEALs, and that was it. The whole war. It was actually about 29 battles. I fought in 28 of them. General JB led one battle, and Sentry Strike was in none. So, just a comment.
So basically, during this war, this was probably the first defeat of the UUC, or like their actual, more or less, first destruction. And they called it the Great Clan War at the time, which he called it, and I believe JB called it. Do you believe this was a Great Clan War?
Well, I believe it occurred at the time of the prime of the United Nations. Our clan just boomed. We hit 120 members during this time because of the war. And UUC, I don't think the war is what caused the UUC to collapse afterwards, but it did cause Strike to reform its clan. So, I mean, I can't take credit for that. It's ultimately down to the leader, what he does with his clan. He might have just been done with the name UUC and wanted to change it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not Sentry Strike. I can't answer that question. So,
all right. So we're gonna skip forward. So, is there anything during the time of the UN that like a major event occurred besides the UC?
While I was in,
Yeah,
during my time, during first gen.
for during the first gen.
First gen. Yes, major character development, as I would put it. As you know, the United Nations was a very popular clan, and most of the community members became a part of the community by joining the UN and then quitting. So, I mean, a lot of your famous clan leaders, they all started in the UN. Okay, they joined the UN, and then, of course, as Ling Ling stated earlier, a revolving door. You would join, and then you would quit. And essentially, the system in the UN was you get a rank up every week, and it keeps members in, and that's how it worked. So, in major events, there was the TNG War and the GGC War, Guardian Grunts Clan, and the Next Generation. Those are the war on terrors, quote unquote. They were in the late spring, 2011. Yes, I could go into detail on those, but if you could probably find information on JB's websites, the UN websites.
All right. So those were the basically events that occurred in the first gen of your UN. What made you leave or decide to leave the UN later on?
Aha. Okay. Well, this is the part where I have to describe myself a little bit before things will actually make sense for you viewers and to you, Dividable. I want you to think of me like an artist, okay? And each clan is a painting. I start the painting, and then eventually there's too much on it, and I just want to wrinkle it up and throw it away in the bin and start a new one. Okay, that's why most of my clans go through this cycle where they last about 5 months, and then I start a new clan. So that's basically how it worked for me. And the UN was the exception to this rule. I was in the UN for over a year and a month, I believe, to be exact. That was because the UN was different. The UN wasn't exactly your average clan. It was very popular, and it was fun. It was fun to be in, I guess. So I stayed in, but why I left? Well, I was kind of tired of it. It's overwhelming. Being the center of attention all the time, being the center of criticism, being everyone's enemy or ally. But you see, when you got a target on crosshairs over your head everywhere you go, it gets kind of annoying. But hey, I didn't mind it after a while, and I got used to it. And the gung ho personality where I always order charge and we kill our enemies. That's me, huh? I'm the guy who shoots first, thinks later. Or at least that's what people think. But I really wasn't. I thought out everything. I always wanted to fight. That was my problem. But isn't that what the game's for?
Yeah.
So, yes, I left the UN because I was tired of it. Just the general situation of the clan. At the time, I was forging a new training for the whole clan, and I just was like, you know what? Done with this. And I took a break from clans for three months or so. And when I quit, it forced JB to step up and take a leadership position and actually do some work outside of media. Because at the time, it was it worked. I ran the clan on the game while he was on YouTube arguing on the comments and posting videos. That worked, right? Mm-hmm. Clearly. But when I left, there was no one else to run the clan, and JB actually was thinking about ending it. He wanted to end it. He was like, all right, well, maybe we should give up. And this is where a character named Fat Zulu enters this. He was actually he joined the UN recently, and he wanted to be a part of it. That's why the UN lasts for another 2 years, is because you get these guys who see all the videos and the legacy of the UN, and they just want to be a part of this great clan. So they would join it and do whatever they could to keep it going for JB. That's why the UN kept going after I left, because the real UN died when I quit, or it should have ended. My mistake was I didn't end it when I left. I just left, and then I expected it to end because everyone quit except for maybe 12 guys. And then they held a council meeting, and JB was telling everyone he was going to end it, and then Fat Zulu was like, no, it must go on. We must continue the legacy. And then Jeremy was like, I guess he saw the light, and quote unquote. That's not. I don't think he really saw the light, and he's still here. Anyways, but that's my point. That's what got JB to keep going, and that's why I left. So.
All right. So you said you left basically for 3 months. What were you doing during those 3 months? Just chilling, or?
Yep.
Oh.
School and chilling.
So,
and then, yeah.
Yeah. So when you rejoined the community, where did you rejoin at?
I joined the United Union Federation. That was its name at the time, under Sentry Strike.
All right. Tell us about your time in the UUF.
Well, I joined the UF, and I knew Strike, and Strike knew me, and I, you know, cut a deal with him in the beginning, and I started out with a rank of sergeant. That goes to show how easy it is to rank up in that clan. Um, anyways, along the top of the UF. Oh god, good times, good times. Well, basically, I was bored. Okay, that's why I came back to the clan community, and I wanted to have some fun. So, I never really liked Strike too much, but at the time, I was still friends with him somewhat. I don't know. I was a terrible person. I used him. I joined the clan with intentions of taking over it, essentially, and I almost succeeded. That's the sad part, but we'll go into detail on that later. And by later, I mean now. So, UUF, I join. I propose a new ranking system. I scrap their old ranking system. I try to organize the clan. Their members don't like that because they don't like some new guy joining that was their enemy a couple months ago, and getting Strike to change all this stuff in their clan. They didn't like me at all. They hated me, in fact. And then I proposed the Marine Corps, and that gave me the rank of general because I was put in charge of it. So I established the UUFMC, United Union Federation Marine Corps, and the uniforms were khaki and steel. Yes, khaki and steel. And in there, my lieutenant colonel was Sentry KFC. Yep. So if you're watching this video, KFC, I just shouted you out. There you go. And Strike, of course, is going to listen to this later. And shout out to you, Strike. You know, not a bad job. I won't criticize you too much, I promise. Okay. So, essentially, what happened was Strike would consult to me. At the time, Strike respected me for my leadership role in the UN, and he would consult to me for many decisions and ask for advice, and I would give it. And eventually, I took advantage of that, and I kind of got power hungry, and I became a complete asshole. So, during my time in the UN, or UUF, sorry. So, similar names. Everything starts with United, so it's just a clan community. Following that, I took control of the clan, essentially using the key phrase, Strike said I could do it, or I had Strike's power, Strike said I could do it, and Strike never argued against me, so I ran around and I controlled things, and they hated me for it. And no one spoke out against me, because they were afraid that I would kick them out if they did, and I would, if they did. Except for this one admiral, I can't remember his name, at a meeting. This is like at the 2-month mark. We already fought the World Retribution clan, and we also fought a elite clan, and that is one of my failures. I was a general in the battle, and we just could not beat them. It was the same guys who helped me when I was in the UN in Halo 3. If you read the biography, can't remember his name. He was Taku Tanuva, that's his name. Yeah, some of you may know him. He was a elite clan leader. He trained his guys damn well. They were good at the game. Look, UUF soldiers versus that elite clan just didn't work out. So I don't know if anyone knows about that, but that was a failure. So, and then moving along, the admiral spoke out against me during a meeting, and then everyone realized, oh wait, this is our opportunity to get rid of Shadow. So everyone started complaining about what I've done, and Strike just kind of sat there, and he didn't want to say anything against me because he still liked me at the time, but he knew what I was doing was wrong. But I guess he was just too afraid to say anything, or he didn't want to say anything. I don't know. You'd have to ask Strike. But then I was like, fine. They kind of busted me here. I'm just going to quit. I mean, I got pretty far. I started to control a lot of things in that clan, and they knew it too. So they weren't dumb. But anyways, I left that, and then I started the UF, United Forces, and I did that for about a month. And then I was like, wait, I'm going to do the MOH again. Third Age, and that was a great clan. By the way, barely anyone knows about it, but that was probably my favorite clan to run, the Monarchy of Halo. It was not a militarized clan. It was a medieval-based clan, and it was a kingdom. It wasn't an empire. It was actually very isolated, and we gained maybe 110, 130 members, somewhere in between that, at our prime. And it lasted, guess what? Guess what? Come on, guess. How many months?
3.
Oh, come on, I just told you. All right, 5. My average clan lasts 5 months. And it was because I recruited summer recruits. And then the school year came in, and then everyone kind of went offline. And then I was like, okay, guys, you've been offline for a month. I'm going to resign because no one's active. Bye. And then they all get online the next day after I sent that message out, and begged me to come back and keep it going, and I said no. So that's how that clan ended. And hopefully that answers your question about UUF.
All
So
right. Yeah. So basically, you rejoined the United Nations later on in another in like I think you believe the second generation.
nope, I never joined the UN again.
You never joined. Oh, well, I guess my facts are wrong. So
Nope.
you basically, right towards the end of, how did you like? Why did you leave the community?
Well, I never really left the community because if you really think about it, the community is me, the community is you, the community is all of us.
All right. Why did you leave the clan community? Like,
You mean why did I go off the radar?
yeah,
Essentially, why
off
did
the
I
radar.
disappear? Well, you see, this will require me to describe some things about me. So let me take a moment to describe this here. Me, my clan leading style was always it was just I was a militaristic leader. Okay, my hobby was to build militarized clans. I love building. I'm the guy that like Legos as a kid. Okay, I'm the guy who likes never-ending building projects. That's why I love to forge maps. I would forge training maps, bases, all this great stuff, and then get people to train on them with me, and that was fun for me. That's why I liked clans. But what I never liked doing, and what I never will like doing, is making media. Media is a chore for me. I've never liked it, and that's probably why I seemed so isolated. And in fact, that's why I was so isolated, because I'd never really reached out. I didn't really care about anyone else. I was selfish. I just built my own clan, stayed isolated. I didn't need war to survive. So that's just how it worked for most of my clans, following the United Nations and UUF. But there are some times where I do enter into community affairs that no one really knows about, which I will explain on your limited edition interview here. So, yes, that is my answer to that question. Why it appears I dropped off the radar or off the grid, apparently. So, or out of the community scope, was because I never really had media. My media guy was my brother, because I just didn't want to do it. It was a hassle for me.
All right. So since you just mentioned your brother, I'm going to ask you a question about him. People that I've talked to so far, such as Ling Ling and what's his name? Sentry Strike. Sorry, they basically said that JB has a weird side to him, like when it comes to clans. Do you want to weigh in on that, or do you want me to explain more?
A weird side?
Like basically how he views the community as like puppets in his image.
Well, I don't know if you really consider that weird for someone who is put in such a position of power and becomes so accustomed to that. See, General JB and myself and a few other leaders, once you've been escalated to that position, it develops. It happens. It's human nature. You've been put in a position of power. You're gonna abuse it, or you're gonna see someone below you as a tool. Okay, I mean, come on,
Hmm.
presidents. So
Yeah.
that's my explanation there. Yes, of course, JB is JB. He has his own personality. He's very much a character, but I wouldn't say that explains his view there. I mean, yes, my brother enjoyed power just as much as I did, but that's my explanation for you there. Very vague.
Alright. So we're gonna move on to the United Forces. From what I believe, there is a current United Forces.
Yes, it used to be the USOH, I believe.
All right. So did they basically ask you for permission to change it to
Yes,
United Forces?
actually, Noble Killa did.
All right.
During the time of the USOH, he asked me if he could have the name. I said, sure. I don't need the name. I'm not using the name. So he also asked me if I could change my YouTube account name so that he could use that, but I said no. So that was yes, that's that. Also, in one of your interviews, didn't you ask one of your interviewees about? Aha! It was in the last interview with Saint Monaco, I think. Did you interview
Mikoto.
Makoto? Okay. Makoto. Okay. By the way, Makoto, you did great on the Mantle project. You were very adept on adding your weekly updates. No one else really did it. You did a great job there. And if you thought no one was checking those, I was looking at those. Just a shout out to you. Good job on those. Thanks. All right. That was a Mantle project. It's not really a failed project, but it's halted.
All right.
So,
So
yes, back to the topic. Um, you asked, actually, he stated that the United Nations was taken down by people who went against it. I wanted to just disprove that for a moment. A clan's fate is ultimately down to the leader of the clan. If the leader of the clan loses his motivation, that is the main cause of a clan falling. You can spy on a clan, you can cause a rebellion in a clan. It's not going to destroy the clan. So when you guys say you cause the destruction of a clan, you're not really causing the destruction of the clan unless you like go to the leader's house and assassinate him in real life. I mean, I don't really think you can destroy a clan that way. I mean, you can make it so it's just the clan leader, and if that clan leader is motivated, he can just keep that clan going no matter what. I mean, just think of it like this: if the president died of a stroke right now, okay, obviously Al Qaeda is going to take responsibility for it. They're going to say we did it, but did they really cause it? No.
no.
So think of it like that. When a clan ends, it's when the leader gets tired of it or just doesn't want to do it anymore. So that's not because of a bunch of pressure from outside. You know, oh, all these people are attacking me. I can't take it anymore. It's a video game.
All right. So since we're kind of on that topic, let's talk about the UN basically ending, because you were saying that basically JB gave up, or as you were saying, like clan leaders, they just like decide to leave the clan or something like that, give up on the clan. That's how it fails, right?
Yes. Yes.
So let's cover like basically UN. Do you know why JB left, or like in your opinion, why do you think he left?
Why General JB left the United Nations? Are you talking? You're talking about the the second gen, all that
It's
crazy
last
stuff.
gen. Yeah, the last gen.
Yeah, where people carry it on.
hmm
Um, I can't answer that question. I'm not General JB, but I can speculate and say, well, maybe his time was up. I mean, he'd been in clan leading for a long time, and he might have been generally tired of the job. And I'm sure you'll find out for sure in the next interview with General JB. But that's my answer to that question.
All right. So basically, once the UN fell, another clan rose up, and that clan was to basically redirect the UN members to the new clan called the UNR. Now, before you answer this thing or this question, basically I was talking to Ling Ling, and he was telling me like a lot, like how JB and you did not approve of the UNR in the beginning. Do you want to weigh in on that?
Well, there were a lot of UN copies after the United Nations ended. This is why I always said I should have ended it before I left and then left, because all these people just wanted to take the name and use it for their own advantage, or people try to pretend to be the UN leaders. I mean, it's everywhere. You've seen it in your time, I'm sure.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
okay, and I really considered it. It's kicking a dead horse, keeping the UN going. So yes, JB was against it originally. I believe I was against it. I'm not sure actually, because later on I in fact do join the UNR later in my clan history, and very few people know about that. I will get into that towards the end of this interview, but I'm in the UNR towards the very end of my clan career with Ling Ling Killer. So
All right.
yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Kasora.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Kasor.
All right. So Kasora has basically been known for posting a lot of media against like the United Nations, against the United Union, against a lot of clans that are basically superpowers. How he basically explains like how military clans are more of role player clans.
Yeah.
So basically that is true, but like let's talk about that video of you, the one that you
Oh
recorded,
yes.
the
Let's
nice
talk about
rant.
Yes, let's talk about that video. You see, as I explained to you before we started recording, that was actually one of the very few times I actually purposely make myself look like an idiot, and I did it while I was recorded too. I regretted that afterwards, by the way. It was supposed to be comical, but at the time, I just was not comical. I was bad at that stuff. Anyways, and also at the time, as you know, I'm a very serious clan leader, and that's what made clans fun for me, is when people took the game seriously. And one of the things I just couldn't handle at the time was a jokester, and Kasora was one big jokester. You could argue all day with him, and he could just troll you. It's just impossible. You can't. You can't really counter that on a. I mean, I can't throttle him through the computer. It just doesn't work. Okay, so I said what I said, and it was really stupid. So, yes, as you can see, it was a learning process. My whole clan career. That was actually after the time in the UUF. So that was my more tyrannical period. Because I mean, to be honest, that's what it was. I was just off my rocker during those few months. So it was just so he got priceless footage right there. Priceless. Good job, Kusor.
All right. So we're now going to talk about the new community right now because basically in 2012, I believe when Halo 4 came out, a lot of clans disbanded, such as like DoD, my own clan, and many clans. But were you still in the community during Halo 4?
Yes, actually. While many clans suffered and had to go back or just died, I adapted. At the time, I was leading a clan called North Army Command, or NAC. The recruitment video is still up on my channel. It ran in the last 2 months of Halo Reach and into the first 2 months of Halo 4. In fact, during the last 2 months of Reach, we declared war on the USSR clan under Crazy Communist for no reason. Yes, I said it, for no reason. That was because I thought about being a bad guy, and I just did it. So, and we beat them in a war, and it was bad for them. Because it was terrible. It's a terrible thing to do, but we just did it. We didn't like him very much, so that's why we did it. I also have to explain this later on, why I did some of the things I did. And also some ideology for you there. I'll get into that at the end of the video when we talk about solutions for the community and what goes on in our heads.
All right. So let's talk about the community, like basically
Halo 4.
Yeah, Halo 4
4
community.
Okay. Yes, going to Halo 4 was a time of isolation for myself. While other clans were dying, I adapted. I built maps. I succeeded on Halo 4. My clans were just as successful in Halo 4 as they were on Halo Reach. They weren't as popular, but they were successful. I did NAC, and then there was Space Command. Yes, Space Command. And that lasted about 5 months, give or take. Wow, surprised, huh? 5 months. Yeah, that was Fat Zulu was in NAC and Space Command as well. Actually, Fat Zulu is in all my clans from NAC on, or MOH in Halo Reach onward. So just a note on that character, by the way, I mentioned earlier, the one who got JB to keep the UN going. Remember him? I mentioned him.
Oh yeah, sorry, I had my mic off. I was taking a drink. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
there was Space Command.
Yeah.
There was NAC, Space Command, and then I joined UNR. That's right, I joined UNR for a short time, and then I started the USFC, and that was a failed project. It got off to a good start, and then there was just a catastrophic failure, and that's when I gave up on clans entirely, and here I am today. So that was my Halo 4 time, but Space Command got around 80 members, and what happened was, for those of you that don't know this, because no one really knows the history past Halo 4, or past my time in the United Nations, or in UUF. Space Command, we had about 80 members at our prime, and we actually joined, you talked about this in your previous videos, about Sentry Strike, when Sentry Strike was like the main enemy on Halo 4.
Yeah.
Well, see, everyone wanted to go to war with Sentry Strike, and we formed the Anti-UUF Coalition. That's what it was called. And it was literally almost every clan active on Halo 4 just trying to destroy the UUF, or at least defeat them in battle. And the thing with the UUF is they wouldn't fight us on open field. They would only resort to their forts and unfair game types. So it was virtually impossible to face them in an actual battle. So that was actually a short time where I made an appearance in what you would call the community, as you said earlier. Mm-hmm. I actually went to that meeting for the Anti-UUF Coalition and was put in charge of counterintelligence, which we just didn't need to do at all. There was nothing. The UUF wasn't hiding anything. It's always been a very open clan. You could join it easily if you wanted to. Yeah. So, and we actually fought in a battle against the UUF on one of their forts. It was a fort on the end of a long bridge on that space map on Halo 4. So then Space Command actually did see some combat against EUF there. Then following that, I joined the UNR. But if you have any questions pending community, clan, way clans were or should be, in my opinion, you can ask, or anything really. So.
All right. So yeah, before I cover that, let's talk about the UNSC community because they've started to form towards the end of Halo Reach, or they were existing, but they started to like rise to power towards the end of Halo Reach.
Okay.
Could you weigh in, or give me your opinion on what you think about the UNSC community?
Well, UNSC communities, essentially, they're clans. I mean, they call themselves gaming communities, I think. I'm pretty sure. Or UNSC clans. UNSC clans have been around for as long as I can remember. They've been around before, where you said they just weren't as popular. Obviously, the most popular one was NavSpec War, and it was led by John S117, or Dunbar, by some call him. And I actually spoke with him once while I was in the UN, while I was leader of the UN. And he said to me, this is not quote unquote, but this is what he said, essentially. He said that he was getting tired of fighting elites, and he was kind of looking into this community for some combat. So my opinion on him is that he's really bored. I mean, he was in the military, but this is kind of his hobby, right? You know, he just wants someone to fight, right? So that's basically what most UNSC clans are, or at least that I know of. That's just a judgment. Not all UNSC clans fit under that category. I can't say that. It's probably very controversial what I'm saying. But really, it's just a clan that has different preferences for how they operate. Okay. So they're militarized. I mean, you guys consider them different than a militarized or quote unquote military clan. There's not that much of a difference. Just the way they do business is different. And that's about it. And basically what caused them to more intervene in our community is the fact that there aren't elites on Halo 4 and games onward. I don't know if there are on Master Chief Collection. I haven't been there yet.
I believe there is.
Okay, well, on Halo 4 there weren't. Halo Reach there were, and there were Sangheili clans in abundance, okay? And they pretty much, that was their main enemy. They would just fight all the time just because they were Spartans and elites. Elites would say, you're a Spartan, I'm killing you. UNSC clans, you're an elite, I'm killing you. And then eventually they got bored of that, and there were no elite, there were barely any elite clans, and so when they moved to Halo 4, they're just, okay, it's open season on all these military clans, and that's how that happened.
Alright, so before we continue more, basically the community started dying down in Halo 4 because not much clans could grow, and many military clan leaders blamed the UNSC community because UNSC Spartans, their main goal was to basically destroy a beginner clan.
That's a scapegoat.
Do you explain?
Yeah, sure. A clan, as I said before, it's up to the leader to keep it going. If a leader has no motivation to keep a clan going, then he'll most likely end the clan. My explanation to that is that leaders simply could not take the pressure, and they just didn't want to deal with the bullshit, okay? In other words, they blamed someone else for their problems, which is not uncommon in human nature. So, UNSC clans could easily be avoided if you just ignore them. If you really want to, you could just ignore them and grow your military clan. Or you could be like me and just not really care about anyone else's business and grow your clan perfectly fine. It's very simple, actually. It's a very simple concept that few clan leaders can grasp. Well, at least that I knew. I'm sure some of you can now, but that's as far as I've seen during my clan leading career. There's some very incompetent leaders out there. You'd be surprised, or maybe not. So
do you want to tell us about Halo 4? Why do you believe Halo 4 was not as great as it was in Halo Reach for clans?
There was less media and less to grow up around. Like in the Halo Reach times, there were these large clans that you could look up to, and they would set an example, of something you could aspire to be one day. And as a clan leader, that kind of sets a precedent on how to run things. For example, after the prime of the UN, most clans followed the standard format of having a National Guard, an army, and maybe a navy or special forces. That was after the UN. Okay, that became very standard. And everyone wanted to be the good guy. Okay, they wanted to be the peace bringer, and that just doesn't work in the community. And in Halo 4, in my opinion, yes, of course, some of you have argued there were people fighting us all the time. Oh, all this and all that. All right, well, look, there undoubtedly, and I can tell you this just straight out, there were too many clans trying to be the good guys. What you have to realize is that activity in the community comes down to this. If the community activity, if the secret recipe to community activity is all, you throw it in a pot over a stove, okay, it's media, active media, so that it gets new people in the community constantly. It's driven and motivated leaders, and it's disagreements. It's ultimately a drama. That's what makes a community fun. Taking it seriously, getting in, having problems with other clans, and the way it used to be done was you would assassinate somebody and then you'd get in a war with them, and that was the problem, and the solution was war, and that was activity. Activity resulted. Clans thrived after wars. If a clan falls after a war, it was already falling before the war started, most likely, or the leader was already giving up, or wasn't really into the whole conflict idea. But ultimately, Halo is a game of fighting. The reason why clan leaders do this is because, and clan members, is because it's a hobby. Clan leading and being in a clan is a hobby. You take countless hours out of your everyday lives to go on Xbox, build maps, train troops for battle, not for peace, for battle, for war. That's what you're doing. You're training to fight, because fighting is what the game is about. Okay, yes, you can undertake the role of being the peacekeeper, but that doesn't mean you always have to. You can instigate a war and very much succeed out of that war if you were just trying to be peace. It's ultimately clan leading and being a member of a clan, the way the clans operated, especially on Halo 4, it became evident, is how you want to get in those wars. What ideas and morals you want to live by. For example, the UNR wants to help clans succeed by helping them grow and train them to be clan leaders. Okay, me, I'd rather, throw them in the, baptized by fire, okay? Force them to learn their lessons on their own like I did, make all the mistakes, and then that makes a good clan leader. Well, I mean, of course, they could read up on all the stuff we've done and maybe learn from that, but, they don't have to. They can still learn the way they're doing now, just by messing up. But if a clan leader wants to get into a war, and he wants to do it for the right reasons, then he might just build a military and wait for someone to attack him, or wait for someone to attack his allies, right? Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to, have his clan run off of wars, then his advertising might be, we're in wars all the time. We fight wars. We're an empire. It's just how you want to play the game. There is no set way to play a game. That's why there's so much disagreement. This UNSC clan stuff, this militarized clan stuff, this gaming community, whatever, it all is down to how you want to play the game. There is no defined way to play the game. You play the game the way you want to. And for me, personally, I say what made the community great was when it was a role-playing thing. Everyone was trying to be something they weren't, okay? In the end, that's how it was, okay? You're all trying to be good guys and bad guys, and it worked. It worked. It worked. That was fun. Taking it seriously, having serious conflicts. You killing me in a video game was serious. You killed the leader of that clan. You killed the leader of the United Nations. The United Nations is going to declare war on you and fight a war with you. And then, of course, you have the less serious gamers who, then they're right, they're not wrong, who say you can have just as much fun joking around and playing the game with your friends like they think that's how it was meant to be. There is no defined way to play a video game. They're not right, they're not wrong. Sorry, I meant to say they're not wrong. They could be right, but they're not wrong. And neither am I, and neither are you, neither is anyone else. Everyone plays the game how they like, and it's just how you interact with each other. If you've got a problem with UNSC clan leaders out here listening to this, choose how you deal with it. You can ignore them. Or you could say, hey, that's an enemy we could fight. I could get a lot of members from this war. Why don't I use it as a recruiting tool? Wow, let's wage a war against UNSC clans. Hey, sorry, UNSC clans, if that's controversial. It is what it is. I said it. Okay. Why don't you wage a war against the militarized clans? That works too. I mean, do whatever you want. Or this could help community activity. Wars ultimately help activity. And if it's crushing clans, if war is crushing small clans, then those small clans were never destined to be big clans at all. Because leaders have to be strong. Leaders have to be motivated. They need to survive that stuff and get through it if they expect to be on the, on the power stage at all. So, and it's just on a smaller scale now. The community is a lot smaller than it was. There used to be a lot more clans that were out there and known, and now there's just less. It's easier to get known in this community now because it's a smaller community. It's plain and simple, and that's my opinion on that. Sorry if I elaborated a little bit,
No,
but
that's all right. So you basically covered like basically all of Halo 4, but let's go into depth with the UNR. Your time during the UNR.
yes, my time in the UNR. Okay, so this is following the Space Command, the end of the Space Command. So basically, let me cover the SC's end. For those of you that don't know how it works, basically I went inactive, and most of my members left, and except for the staff remained loyal, and Fat Zulu was also in the staff, and there was just a point where the staff, we had a meeting, and they said, "Hey, Shadow, we don't think you're doing a good job." Zulu said himself, he's like, "Shadow, we could do better than you. I could do better than you." I said, "Okay, here you go. I'm promoting you to clan leader, and send me a postcard." And the next day, the clan ended. So, and then I joined UNR, United Nations Republic, under Ling Ling Killer. I spoke with Ling Ling beforehand. We were friends beforehand, and he gave me the position of RIA, Republic Intelligence Agency Director. So I wanted to do intelligence for a little while, and that's what I did. In the UNR, I was the first person to lead the RIA, and I created the intelligence agency base and all the maps for the RIA, and I established a security force. It's basically just personal bodyguards for me, but yes, I established a security force as well as some intelligence stuff that could look into other clans and keep the UNR informed so it can make effective decision making. That's pretty much what I did. It was basically just a way to relax for me and kind of revisit the past, because it was similar to the UN.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it felt like to me. It was like, wow, I'm revisiting the past here. I'm kind of taking a break. But of course, as a clan leader in the past, that spark keeps coming back, right? I can't stay in a clan for very long without wanting to make my own. So I left, and that was kind of expected. Ling Ling knew it would happen, but I have to say, comment, since we're on the topic of UNR, I guess I should talk about Ling Ling. So
yeah,
I'll get into that if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Ling Ling Killer, or Predator was his old name. This is while he's in UNR. He, ever since I denied him the rank of sergeant in the UN, he was a little younger then, and more arrogant. Almost just as arrogant as me. Is probably why I didn't like him. Just personality collision there. Boom. So, anyways, I joined the UNR. We got along just fine. He gave me a leadership position. Ling Ling had developed a lot from his past. I have to say he's one of the most developed clan leaders. He's changed quite a bit, and he's become a better leader by making mistakes. And I mean, we can't outrun our pasts. I mean, yeah. Honestly, he's more of a militaristic leader, which is a good quality to have. And as you can see, most of the people who are successful in media are politicians or like politics, because that's what this comes down to be. He doesn't really like being a politician, but he will if he has to be a politician. He will do it, but he really doesn't like doing it. What he's doing right now, he's basically a military leader pretending to be a politician. So to solve things diplomatically, he doesn't really like doing that. He'd much rather just solve it with a gun. So
all right, so I had a topic, but is there anything you want to cover or make it clear for the viewers out there that I haven't asked?
Haha. Okay. Well, I have one question for you before I get into that. You're the leader of the Vipers clan, right? Or no, Virus.
Yes. Or not leader,
Virus.
I'm general right now.
General.
Vice president.
Have you ever considered the possibility of someone creating a clan called the Immune System, by chance?
No, not really. Actually, not really, but To be
I
honest
mean,
with
come
you,
on.
I'll tell you something. So on Facebook right now, there's like a lot of things going on. There's a clan called Plague,
Like,
and there's my clan called Virus. But honestly, I only brought Virus back because I admired Voltage, and that was in
aha.
2012. I had Virus, and then I went back to UAF. But basically, it was the other president wanted Virus back because it was really fun during the time because we took out UUF. But that's the story for another time.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, things I want to say. You probably wanted to ask me about the book, the autobiography, and whether I'm going to be finishing it or not, and when, so that people can read it. Because I'm sure that you viewers out there are like, "Come on, Shadow, why isn't it out yet? Where is it?" I'll answer that question, and then I can go into any final statements if you want.
There will be people knocking on your door. Finish the biography.
Finish it, Shadow. I'll
All right.
find you.
So
Okay.
yeah, let's talk about your autobiography.
Okay, so this is to you viewers. I'm not going to upset anybody here. The question is, will and if I do, when will it be released? My answer to that is a complicated one. Well, to be frankly honest with you, I've hit a stump in the story, and that is during the UN era. Okay, the stump is the community really blossoms at this time, and the range of characters and events occurring at the same time is almost too much for pages. I personally, this is not an issue of confidence. This is an issue of trying to get every detail from the internet and internet 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and put it into a book so everything is facts, not just me babbling about things that happened. I mean, like on this interview, I just summed up history in less than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's really a lot more to it. There's so many people involved, and I really feel that those people deserve to be a part of that. They deserve to be mentioned in the book. I want to include everyone who was a part of, my story. I don't want to just, summarize everything and make it, I don't want to finish the book with just summaries. I want to make the book detailed down to every detail so that readers can actually get an idea of what really happened, what actually occurred. And right now, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, and it's hard. I'm being honest with you. So you're going to have to be patient if you want to see that book finished, because I have to go back. I have to interview people that were in that time period, and I've been trying to get in contact with them, and it's not that easy. And I've also got to keep using the Bungie records, and it's a work in progress, okay? I have not given up on it. I'm telling you that I have not given up on it. And also, all those things, they take time, and time is something I have very little of nowadays. And Dividable here knows it was very hard to get in contact with me, and that's why he was probably excited to do this.
My greatest achievement.
Oh, yeah, your greatest achievement. Okay. Yeah, you mean most views? Yay, more subs. Okay. Well, that's my answer to that question. So, have patience, and if you were around during that time, please come forward. Just message me on YouTube so I can talk to you about some stuff, because I don't want to write down, I don't want to type all that stuff and then have to go back and, well, I will if I mess something up. I will go back and fix it if it's wrong, because it's got to be factual. But that's my answer to that question. And, yeah, so I guess you want to move on to any last statements for the community.
So I'm going to basically ask you the last question that I ask all of the people in my interview. So
Right.
far, the community people are saying is just slowing down, not necessarily dying as other people that are saying, right?
Yes.
Is there any ways that you could recommend to our viewers how we can pick up the community and make sure it prospers the way it was in Halo Reach?
Okay. Well, there's quite a few things I'd have to say to answer that question fully. One of them is, we need more clan leaders that are driven to keep their clans going and running and keep them active. And one way to keep a clan active is to keep it running, okay? Not to sit on your ass and play Minecraft, okay? Or do something else, okay? If you're going to be a clan leader, you need to be a clan leader. You need to be active. That is probably the main thing that will help your clan community thrive. Okay, if you have active leaders, and then eventually their clans get more advanced, they get more members, they maybe make some videos for YouTube. Okay, YouTube media is important. Media gets you known. Media gets you out there. Okay, yes, there's the Facebook stuff out there, but that's too easy. That's a click of a button. That proves nothing about your clan. That does not tell the community that this guy is really trying here. This guy is going to be great. This guy can click a button on Facebook and say, "Hey, we're here." That's not something to praise. If you want to make things more active, you need to have driven clan leaders, you need to have media, you need to have conflict, okay? Or at least if there has to be a ratio of conflict and peace, it needs to be, 2 to 4 for conflict to peace, okay? For every period of peace needs to be occupied by training for war. And then when the war happens, there needs to be the war. And then after that, peace, and then war. If it's just all war, it won't work. If it's all peace, you're all going to die. So, I mean, my solution for you there is stay active. Get involved with each other. Go in someone's game, and I don't want to cause you all to kill each other, but go in someone's game and assassinate a clan leader, okay? And then hope they make a video about it, okay? Yeah, I just probably caused a dozen wars there. Okay. I would make a terrible president. America, go in another country and kill a politician. That will help our country.
5 months.
But to be honest with you, clans work better when there's activity. And activity can only happen if you get on that Xbox and you play. So that when it comes down to it, that's pretty much that. I mean, personally, I'd say the best way for clans to be would be the role-playing type, militaristic type. I mean, if you like UNSC, then I guess you like UNSC. If you don't, you don't. If you really want to categorize them like that, then I guess categorize them. I really consider them all the same, just different preferences. Everyone's got a different way of playing. And you want to play it how you want to play it, you play it. Just get out there and play it. God damn it. That's what I'm saying. So that's my solution for the community. Play the game and move forward, because when you all hang back at different games, it splits you guys up even more. And Halo Reach was so successful because so many people were on one game. And then Halo 4 came out and it split the community in two. People just couldn't adapt. And those people that can't adapt to new games, they keep falling back and it keeps spreading us out even more. What you need to do is you need to keep moving forward. That's what I did. I adapted. I overcame. I kept making the clan on the next game. And that's how it works. Okay, look, Halo Reach was great and all, but you can't keep kicking the dead horse. It doesn't work. Okay? You have to keep moving in order to keep things active. If everyone is spread out, it just does not work. The lines of communication are broken. You need to get together. You need to be at least on one. Yes, Master Chief Collection has all sorts of problems right now, but my advice is get on the game if you have the Xbox One. If you've moved your clan to Xbox One, then good for you. Spend the time while the game is all messed up to build all your training maps, all your forts, all your stuff, maybe some media, and then in the hopes that they fix the game, then the game will be perfect, and you guys will be able to play it, and you'll have everything ready, and then the community will blossom if you're all there. I mean, if some of you are still on 360, then I guess there can be a mini community there and a mini community here, but it's really down to you guys. You guys got to make the decision what you want to do with your community. You are the community. I was the community. My time is over. It's your turn to take the mantle of responsibility. There's a shout out to Power, who idea for the mantle project, mantle of responsibility. So, yep, that's to you, Power. Good job there. That's all I have to say, really. Thank you for this time and interviewing me and making this a nice, long, juicy interview that hopefully will help some of you think things through when you make your clan. If you have any questions for me, I'm right here still.
Oh, so are we going to be seeing you more? Are we going to be seeing you less in the future, or is this the end of Shadowsniper?
Is this the end of Shadowsniper 172? Yes. Well, this is the end of Shadowsniper 172's clan career, and as you can see, I'm not very active. I mean, JB comments every once in a while, and I comment like once every month or 2 or 3. So, most likely, this is the end of Shadowsniper. And for those of you out there who think that you caused my demise, you didn't. In fact, you probably contributed to my success. So, hey, if you want to be successful and you want to be known, you got to get out there and play, and you got to be active, and that's how it works. Okay, I could explain some of the decisions I made another time, maybe in another video, but I'm sure this interview is stretched on for quite some time. So I don't want to kill all of you with my voice.
Just getting that last drink or bite.
Oh, yep, that was the sip of water.
Alright, so I believe that is all we had. I have to ask, and I'm pretty sure we covered everything a lot. There will probably be more questions that we can ask later on, but yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's a really honor and a privilege for you to be on this interview.
Oh, it's my honor to be on this interview.
Alright.
It's an opportunity to talk to, the community here and get my voice heard so you guys can hear what the old Shadowsniper has to say about your problems. I mean, yeah, so that's that. There you go.
Alright. So, congratulations. You made it over an hour, the longest interview we've done so far.
All right, special edition.
Special
And
edition.
don't worry, I'm sure someone's going to make a clan now called the Immune System just because I said it. So,
Oh boy.
and they're going to be your enemy.
Anyways, we're going to end off this video now. Thank you once again, Shadowsniper, for being part of this interview, making clan history, and helping the viewers out, or helping basically the community prosper. Anyways, guys, I'm DividableHalo. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment down if you have anything that you want to say. I'm pretty sure someone will respond, maybe me or Shadow or someone down in the description below, or not description, comment section below. Make sure to like this video up, and hopefully we'll be doing an interview with Shadow's brother, General JB.
Yes, I'm sure that will be interesting. All right, have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, anyways, that is it. Bye.